critical criticism regarding objectively narrowing your music.
Hello.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Hello.
Week 4, month 4, episode 4. We're back with our monthly music discussion club called A.C.R.O.N.M because it's the first Wednesday of the month, and that's generally when we do this. How you guys doing?
Doing great. It's my one day of the month that I get to dress up and pretend I'm going out.
I know. I put on my good hoodie for this. It's gonna be fun.
I put on my shirt.
Oh, nice one. Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, we'll be talking about those girls a little bit later. We've reached Saskatchewan, middle of the country, Canada's skinniest province and one of the best. We have lots of stories. We're going to focus on one main story later when we get to that point. That's been one of the funnier stories of our entire career. And our good pal, guru, mentor, traveling friend, sound tech, all those things. Noah Camus is our guest this week. He was along with us, and Kayla Kangas for the events that are about to unfold. Stupefying events that we'll tell you about. But of course, First, we do need to talk about the music, this week's playlist. I have some issues with some of the songs.
As usual.
Go ahead. Let him have it.
As for you, Steve, do you have your bell ready?
Okay, let's get the bell.
But
okay,
I would like to say one thing. Steve, nice glasses.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mark. I thought I'd try them out this week just to see how they work. And
what happened?
No, sorry. That's a bit of a sight gag.
Mayor of Hamilton, Dylan, is with us today.
I got my bell. I guess it's fine.
All right, let's jump into the music portion because we're going to spend a lot of time on discussing the beautiful province of Saskatchewan. So the lead-off track on this week's playlist, for those of you who have listened and those who have not, is Roy Ayers and Roy Ayers' Ubiquity. Now tell us a little bit about your first pick there, buddy.
Roy Ayers' Ubiquity. Apparently sampled all over the place. This guy, the song came out in 1976. It features a little bit of vibraphone, and I always love me a little bit of bongos. There's a lot of bongos in the song.
Said the drummer.
Yeah. Well, there's this piano riff. This how's it? See if I can play it here. Sounds like Star Trek, but if you hear it in the song, oh my God, it's
sounds
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah. So there's piano. I kind of discovered Roy Ayers back when I was doing sound at the Cameron House in Toronto, and this DJ Anusha used to play Roy Ayers amongst a bunch of other amazing songs. And then just recently it came up again, sort of my playlist. I'm like, oh yeah, I love this thing. It's got a synth in it, this crazy synth.
It sounds exactly like that, and it's mixed so incredibly loud from the standpoint of a mixing thing in music. Like if you're going to get into the minutia, of like song mixing and creation, I've never heard a synth so loud. I like it, but it's like if you have it playing in away far from you, you'll still hear that. You may not hear the words, you'll hear that.
Yeah, it's really loud.
Down in the sunshine.
Yeah, there's barely anything. So what the song evokes for me is prairies, man. It's sunshine. It's just the song comes in like this.
That's a pretty good
and then
representation.
The fade out, you'd like this, Casey. The fade out is a minute long. It just like
I love that.
It loves the sunshine.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it just evokes prairies to me. And he's got a great line too. It's sort of a celebration of color, if you will. He's like, everyone gets down in the sunshine. Next line, everyone gets brown in the sunshine.
It's a good one. And I got to say, this week, your 3 songs are the most weirdest combined 3 songs yet so far by a million. I think you will see it as it comes, but that's a good lead-off track. I like it.
Right. Yeah. They're all antidotes to song number, my second. Anyways, I'm going to time out here. I think.
Yep. Hit it. There we go. Nice screwdriver work. All right, let's go on to Mark's first pick of the week.
Okay.
Band called Houndstooth.
Yeah, they're out of Portland via Austin. It's the main 2 people are Katie Bernstein and John Gorski.
There's a picture of them there.
Oh. Yeah, they're and I guess the other 2 people are actually from Detroit, Michigan.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. Let's see who they are. It's Graham Gibson and Carrie Palazzolo. Anyways, the reason why I picked this is I don't know how many times we've done it, but we've driven straight from Regina after a show overnight home, like 32 hours or 36 hours or whatever it is.
It's a rough
and this one I picked because this is the one that I would like to play when we leave there next time, if we're heading home. This one just has such an amazing driving beat, and the guitar, the sound, all of that stuff. And then Katie's vocals are pretty awesome. And like the opening lyric is like, I take the long way home. And that is actually the perfect lyric for leaving Regina and heading east.
Yeah, oftentimes Regina is our last show if it's a Canadian trip. Or Saskatoon, but generally Regina would be the last one, and we're just like, let's go and drive. But her voice also reminds me of a pick later, a great Canadian band we're going to talk about called the Garys, who you're wearing their shirt. Mary's voice is similar to hers, I thought.
Oh, I got to go this way there.
It's hard while we're doing this live show, guys, because if you move one way, it's actually the other way. It's all mirrored. It's just, we're old. Weird. Figure it out. Anyways, the Garys they're one of my, I picked mine first, so I got to pick the Garys. These guys both would have chosen that, but I got there first. So that's how that worked out for me. Anyway.
So yeah, that was my pick.
Driving beat. I love it. You're right. The bass just drives that song, but the guitars are really cool on it.
Yeah, that's a guitar song too. Like the little licks in there are pretty great.
And the whole thing is like, all I see is like, the break in the road just flying by and the headlights out there. Just like, it's the prairies heading home for me.
Yeah, we've had a few. That first time home from Regina Strait, there was a couple close calls with wildlife luckily on the straight and narrow roads, not before we got into
and a truck.
All kinds of stuff. It's dangerous out there, people. All right, I get my first shot here. Now, this is the original power duo, I would call these guys. Before there was the White Stripes, before Shovels and Rope, and before even White Horse. Fozzy and Kermit, Rock the Road. This is one of the greatest road songs. There it is. Moving right along. One of my favorite songs ever. I feel like when there's music on in the van, and Noah can attest to this because we'll all be doing our own things, but when we do play this song in the van, I think all four of us listen to it every single time, and we're like, get into it. It has an incredible banjo thing. It was written and recorded in the height of country rock, 1979, so it just fits right into that era. And I mean, great vocals. It's about being lost too. It's obviously a traveling song and being on the road.
They mention Saskatchewan.
They mention, hey LA, where you've gone? No, hey LA, where you gone? Send someone to fetch us. We're in Saskatchewan. So I don't know how they got across the border. First of all. They're in the States the whole time, and then all of a sudden they got it. But they are a frog and a bear, so maybe they just.
There's that line, "Footloose and fancy free."
It's great.
Only Muppets can sing that line.
It's amazing. Despite being a Muppet song, it's still an incredible, just a great traveling song. It's like I always think of when in Dumb and Dumber when they were like, I thought the Rocky Mountains would be rockier than this.
That John Denver's full of shit.
He's like, I've never seen the sun come up in the west, as a question, because they're just completely, one of them fell asleep and they're going the wrong way. And that's happened to us a few times. It happened to us in Michigan that one time where we went down, we were supposed to be on 96, but we turned on to 69 and we were like the wrong direction. So this song has actually happened to us a couple times, which has been, which just makes it relatable. But I mean, literally, here you go. Late 70s power duo. There weren't a lot of them, but here's the first one right here. So
nice.
There you go. So we're going to move on next to our friend Steve Pitkin here. What do you got next for us, buddy?
Okay, back to me. This one, right out of the same era as Roy Ayers, the most sampled guy in hip hop. This is kind of.
Is that a fact? So I know you said that. Is that is he considered the most? Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that song, I don't know. There's all kinds of people have sampled him. I don't have a list in front of me, but and by the way, Roy Ayers, I looked him up. Still alive. He's about 80.
That's a good start.
Still doing shows.
That's what people wanted you to know about them. Roy Ayers, still alive. It's like,
well, he's up there, right? Actually, Johnny Mitchell's still alive. But Roy Ayers still playing shows on the vibraphone. You can see him doing an NPR Tiny Desk concert. Which is
really?
Looks good in this photo. This must be a while back.
Cool. Yeah, he's a bit older than that now.
Yeah, I guess.
The next guest would be none other than
Canadian treasure, Joni.
Right. Writing a song I always thought was about David Crosby, because I know they were chumming around way back in the day.
Right.
Turns out the song was about Sam Shepard, who's a playwright, who was hired by Bob Dylan to scribe the Rolling Thunder review as it went by, to write about it. Right. He never did that, but later he released his logbook. So he met Joni on that tour, or she met him, whatever. And the story is kind of about his coyote-like ways, and it's really visceral. Like the last verse is
Did you just ring yourself out there?
What?
Did you just ding yourself out by accident? I thought I heard the bell.
Yeah, I might have.
I did. Yeah.
Keep going. Keep
Oh,
going.
okay, no. What astounds me about the song is I've known it for a long time, but it's Jaco Pastorius, who's like this sort of very fancy bassist, probably one of the best bass players to have ever lived, plays on it.
Oh, okay. That explains that bass.
Yeah,
thing.
that's why it all sounds so fancy.
It's all like not
fancy
slimy.
too.
I want to use. It's like very liquidy.
Yeah,
Slimy's good.
I don't know if you knew this, but he met a terrible demise. He sort of became a street person and was beaten to death in front of a club in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, he was talking
Like,
about that.
yeah, it's a sad story. But in his day, even still, he's very inspirational to a lot of those bassists out there. So, anyways, she had him. There's a few videos of the song that it's kind of a neat thing to if you just sort of examine the song. There's one where in the Rolling Thunder review, she's in Gordon Lightfoot's living room playing it with Bob Dylan and Roger McGuinn. And they're having a bit of a tough time. And the song is.
Ask you a question: is McGuinn playing a 12 string by any chance?
He might be. He's in the background. I know that Gord is like far back, just kind of going, I don't know what to do. But looking awkward in the background. And Roger announces it, and Bob is right beside her. And then fast forward to the Last Waltz movie. She does that song. And the bass player, of course, Rick Danko, is kind of just got this. I don't know what I'm doing, and they replaced the bass parts, as we know.
It's funny because that's my smoke break in the Last Waltz. When Coyote comes on,
I know. I get it.
That's when you actually have your Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, I just like this is like.
Yeah, it's all an acquired taste, or in a way. But she was singing from the heart, and I love that. And she treats the guitar like a canvas. She doesn't follow it like the blues riff or whatever.
It's a complex song.
Yeah.
I think it's just too smart for me. That's why I
Read the
never
lyrics.
wrap my head around it. I'm just like,
Look at the last verse and watch some of those videos of the development of the song. It's rather interesting. And then she does it live when her band was Jaco Pastorius, Pat Metheny, Lyle Mays. It was this insane band.
Anyway,
Anyway,
to put up this nice compliment here from our friend.
Oh, right.
Thank you. Yeah, some better than others. I wouldn't put that for myself. But
I'm digging it out.
all right, we're moving on.
All right.
Joni Mitchell. We have nothing negative to say about that.
No,
Good.
we'll just leave the air.
All right.
All right, here we go. This is another like these guys from the prairies, man. I'm telling you, there's like so many of them. But let's talk about Foxhorn here.
Well, yeah, it's like, I mean, if you go to all, like, I mean, this one, I kind of picked this one because when you listen to this song, it's Andy Schaaf, and it's his band Foxhorn, two brothers, Avery Kissick and Daryl Kissick, and Dallas Bryson, that rounds out the band. But I picked this one because Andy Schaaf obviously is known for, his solo stuff. But this one actually stands out for me. It's kind of feels like the prairies. I mean, Andy Schaaf is from Estevan, Saskatchewan.
He's from Estevan?
Yes, that's why I said
wow,
Estevan.
he's definitely come the furthest. That's wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because here's a shot here. You sent me this earlier. This is he had played with us.
Yes.
Another one of those artists who once opened for us and now is doing incredibly well. And it's all because of us. Right? Like I was just saying the other day, we got this girl opened for us in New York once named Julian Baker. What happened to her all of a sudden? It's pretty crazy. Maybe that's our magic. Maybe it's our doing, right? We did that. No, but his music's great, and this Foxhorn band is really, really cool. They played the Hollywood Cemetery here.
Did they?
Year, I guess, before the lockdown. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they have
I
shows.
just really love this one. This one is mixed. I mean, Andy Schaaf, I love how he phrases his vocals and does all that stuff. But at the best of times, he's hard to understand just because of how he phrases things. But that's what I like. Mm-hmm. But this one, give it a chance. The vocals are buried so deep in this mix, I can't hear anything. So I went and looked up online, obviously, to find the lyrics. Give it a chance. No one would know it's a fake romance. Just close your eyes. I'll hold my side like a wounded man. You said sun sail over till it all falls down. Then nothing feels right. But that's it. That's the only lyrics. But I mean, I love just the whole feel of this song.
Yeah, he has great vocal production too. They do great things with his vocals and on all the stuff. It's
yeah,
really
they put out 2 records. One in 2011 called "Has Been Defeated," which is pretty good as well. But this one, Fox Warren, self-titled, was pretty great, and I thought I'd pick this one.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Nice one.
It sounds good.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. I find that Mark's picks mostly, a lot of them have like interesting recorded sound, like the sound of these songs, again, like last week.
Well,
they just sound really cool.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
if
Your
you
next
look-
pick sounds so old timey. It sounds
Yeah. Well, if you listen to this one, they actually have like frogs, and like it's almost like you're sitting by the lake or a river or whatever it is, and you can hear it. It's very subtle in the background. If
We got some of
listening.
that. We did some crickets on a couple
Yeah.
records.
Yeah.
We've used nature. We're not against using nature.
No, not at all.
And it's you
Anyways.
don't have to license crickets or frogs. They're free. You can use them all. You just don't have to pay for it. It's amazing. We're sticking with the prairies as for the artist. I'm next. And this is obviously, I think I can speak for all of us. We all love this band. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Yes.
We've known them a long time. I feel like we met them when they were like basically children almost. Here's a shot of the original lineup. The guy on the right there in the darker coat is Ryan Bolt, the main songwriter. And the guys are like, the first time we saw them, we had played this weird, like, I don't know what kind of festival you would call it in Lethbridge, some kind of corn festival or like harvesting or cows or something, some rodeo, like some sort of thing. And then we ended up, no, it was like a random thing. It was like a one-off that we got hired for.
Mm-hmm.
We flew out for it.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
Yeah, it was so weird. And we ended up at the Tongue and Groove, which we will discuss. I think we'll have a whole Lethbridge episode if we keep going with this stuff. Like we'll just talk about Lethbridge because it's literally like there's a lot going on in that town. But we ended up at the Tongue and Groove with this legendary bar in Lethbridge, Alberta, of all places. And they were playing, and I just remember hearing them and listening to this record, which is Hang Me, Hang Me's on their debut record, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Of course, when I lose the shot here.
Well, we invited them back to our hotel room to hang out. They were so good.
Oh,
Like
yeah, didn't we get
there was only like
trouble on
there's
it,
only like 5 or 6 people like watching them play other than us.
Yeah, well, it was
then
one
we
of their
invited
first
them
times out for sure. Yeah.
back to the hotel, and then they got kicked out. So,
Yeah, they almost got us kicked out, but that's fine. As long as we got to stay, that was cool.
yeah, exactly.
But all of their music is incredible. They've been doing, I mean, they've worked with Casey and Clayton. They're all friends now. I think Clayton from that band is the guitarist in the Deep Dark Woods currently. So there's this like community in Saskatoon, and Ryan produces records. I think he works at the radio station. Actually, Ryan now lives in London, Ontario.
You're right. Yes. Yeah.
So, and then Jeff, their keyboard player, one of the best guys on earth. He's just amazing. I think he lives out in Canmore. But they're like, I don't even know how to describe their music other than like soothing and just, they sound like 1,000 years old, but they're just like, he's just a young guy.
They do sound like old men.
The one
totally.
thing that I'll say about these guys is they're not afraid to like repeat lyrics over and over and over again, where it drones on, but you're like, you love it and you get sucked in even further. Whereas like myself as a writer, I'd be like, oh, I've said it like 4 or 5 times, I can't say it again. But they just go for it. And it's like, and it works for them,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're like the modern day, they're one of the ones these days that perfect murder ballads. Like that, this first record is a lot of murder and death set to like just beautiful melodies. And it just like Hang Me, Oh Hang Me is written from the point of view of a guy like at the gallows and seeing his family come to see it all happen, which is an amazing perspective as a songwriter to take in. I think it's amazing. I don't know, like, I'm not sure if they have new music coming out or what right now. I haven't really checked them out lately. I know that like Casey and Clayton are quite busy right now, but yeah, just one of my favorites. Check this record out. Check any of their records out. They're all incredible.
Yep,
but I won't talk too much more about the Deep Dark Woods till we talk about the province itself. Pass it off to Steve's next pick. This is a great tune. I was like, what? I knew the band because I'm married to a Newfoundlander.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what this song was. So why don't you explain this one for us?
I didn't know much about the song either. My friend Brian was watching this episode last month when I led off famously or infamously with the song These Eyes.
That got me in a lot of trouble. I'm getting hate mail all the time.
And I apologized before and I'll apologize again. Yes. Now, what he said, and I'm still not sure why, but he said that's like the rattling bog of, pop music or something.
So you had to look that up and bring this song.
These Eyes keeps going up and up and up and up, like still to eternity. Sure. This song goes up and up in speed. And so when I found this song,
and lyric, I was wondering, I wanted to ask you, and maybe you don't know, I don't know if there's a name for this kind of song where like one thing leads to the next, like it's you pile it on kind of thing. It's like, because what are the lyrics? Like the bird and the nest and the nest and the stick and the stick and the tree, and it goes down. And I feel like it's a Newfoundland sobriety test. Like if you get pulled over, if you're in Newfoundland and St. John's, you get pulled over. You got to recite Rattling Bugs, like, and the birds and the nest and the nest.
Yeah, so it's got nothing to do with the prairies. I kind of picked it as an antidote to the other songs, especially the Joni thing. If things get too heavy with talking about Joni, you know, we can always go back to Battling Bog.
Well, I think they're sitting on the steps outside of the ship or something.
That's what I was going to say. That's what it looks like.
So it looks pretty authentic. And quickly, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can we talk about this artwork for a second? Can we talk about how many man hours went into this beauty? I was wondering earlier, Mark, do you think this is some of Judd Haynes' early high school work before he got good?
Oh, that's
oh, please. You got to put up some good Judd now for that.
Oh, I mean, I'm just joking, obviously, but I mean, like, how much? We're a band who really likes artwork, and I just wonder how much time was spent on
white border, no white border, white border, no white border.
What font should we use?
It's a grade 8 science project.
No, it's great. The song is amazing. I don't mean to rip on people's artwork, but I don't think a lot of time was spent on that particular album.
I put it there for comic relief, but we do a song that speeds up a bit, and there's other bands that do that too, and it's a great device. But these guys kind of take it to the mega max, like you've never. No, the speed is not almost as fast.
They get pretty fast.
10 times. Although we have played banjo song maybe that fast once or twice, and then
I'm sure it's gotten out of hand.
When we first started it, and then I got pissed off.
That's right. I think I put banjo song in the mix too, so you can compare.
And another huge fan. I don't know if you knew this about the Irish Descendants, but Paris is also a huge fan. This is her holding she might have done the artwork for this one. I don't know.
Well done.
Of course, yeah.
Well,
but I love it. I just like this one is just like, did you get your cousin to do this? Who did this for you? But I love the picture. It's like, what's the beer? I can't tell. Is that a black horse? I don't know. Dark horse, I guess.
Well, there's a harp.
Yeah.
Black horse.
Black horse.
Whatever it is. That's like, it's either, there's like the two beers in Newfoundland. You're one or the other. It's similar to the prairies. I think like the beer of Saskatchewan is Pilsner, the brand, not the type of beer, but the Pilsner can, right? It's very much the Saskatchewan beer that we have drank a lot of for sure, but. Good pick, Steve. I loved it. I was like, I don't know what this is when I first.
I don't know either.
It goes with your glasses.
Yeah, but there must be a name for that. It's not like a circle around, but it's like literally one. You keep adding the things to it. My lighting seems to get.
Maybe somebody can give us the info. Maybe somebody knows that.
Yeah, like what's it called when you add? Like, there's a song called the Wonky Donkey. If you have kids, you might know the Wonky Donkey, and it's like you keep adding a thing.
Yeah.
That's why it does. It seems like a field sobriety test when you're driving around on Water Street or something.
I like that. Writing, it's interesting.
It's cool. I was laughing at first when I heard it, then I listened to the song. I was like, this is awesome.
There's so many versions of it. That's the only version that sounds good. All the others sound like some drunken guy in a bar.
Hey man, it's Newfoundland music.
Produced, like, despite the cover art, the music is well produced.
They're great players too. It sounds awesome.
We should actually pick songs one time where it's like the actual person is performing their own song but destroying it, where you were like, it would actually sound like somebody covering it.
I'll do that with Africa. Remember the Toto guy, the singer of Toto at the Riff Fest?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's an amazing. Well, we don't hurt anyone's feelings.
Life's been good.
Really? Do we? Anyways, we're moving on to Mark because we got to get to our friend Noah. Noah's sitting backstage in Vancouver. He's just waiting to get on here.
Okay,
Noah's going to rip us wide open with our music choice. At least me and Steve.
He'll be nice.
He's got a choice too.
All right, here's Mark's next pick. This is the band called the Fruit Bats. There's a shot of them there.
That doesn't look like a fruit bat.
That's the solo version. That I looked up fruit bats, and that's what came up. And then I found the band right after that. You don't think that's not a fruit bat?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Some kind of it's a bat.
Yes, that's good. You know what? Bats are cute. I had one in my house a long time ago, and they're pretty cute. I didn't want to put them outside.
Yeah, I got nothing against them.
Yeah. Anyways, these guys are just to give some backstory. They're out of Chicago, formed in 1997. But I mean, it's mainly based around the singer. The singer is Eric D. Johnson. He's the main guy. The song that I picked, I didn't really realize it's as old as it is. It's 2009. The song is called Flamingo, and I love this one. This one I picked just because the lyrics kind of speak to me. It makes it feel. We've stayed at the Senator Hotel in Saskatoon. I don't know how many times.
Many times.
It can be dark, it can be happy, all of those different things that you're feeling midway through on the way back home, all of that stuff. But this one, it's like, it just starts like the main lyric right off the top. The place where I was born is a vague memory, like flakes in the snow on a broken down TV. And it sounds so old.
It sounds like the Senator Hotel.
It's
a lot.
Like,
it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And for me, it feels like the prairies. It feels like Saskatchewan, and that's kind of why I picked this one. The autumn rain.
The recording too. It sounds amazing. Like the sound of the recording, technically.
Yeah.
It sounds old, and I think I'm just drawn to that. A lot of the songs that I kind of pick are just, they have that. They don't sound like they've been made in a studio. They're made in somebody's room.
We haven't done any Hamilton Lighthouse yet, but we've talked a lot about that record and how amazing it sounds. Like the songs are incredible, but it's just like the sound of the production, which is minimal, but I guess authentic, whatever word you want to use. That they have that going on.
Well, I don't think I would be brought into the song as much if it was recorded in a studio. If it didn't have the sounds that it has, the achiness and you can hear the cracks in the walls. I always love that about a song, and that's why I picked this one. Yeah,
it's a good one.
Cool.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it's and they have a record coming out Friday, I think.
They do.
I just saw that on the internet today. The internet told me.
And on top of that, it's one of the bands that I've heard about for like the longest time, and until the coronavirus hit, I didn't have time to like listen and sit back. And it was only this summer where it's just like I fell into all these songs. And there's and it kind of worked out perfectly for A.C.R.O.N.M because it's like, this is awesome. These are songs I want to play to people.
You have a good algorithm. That's what it is. Your algorithm is giving you good stuff.
I don't.
That's what your algorithm is.
It goes back to, you can't discover anything. It discovers you, right? It knows what you want.
Yeah.
So.
Here's our good friend Jude. There you go.
Oh,
see, you're opening ears and eyes and hearts and minds. Is that all the things that you're opening? All the things. I don't know what else. Yeah, that's great. See, it's good to find new stuff because like we usually, our pal Noah, who we're going to have on in a little while, is our DJ in the band. We've sort of ceded that to him, and for the most part, we listen to a wide variety of things. But a lot of this stuff is not stuff we've even heard before, so it's cool to hear it now and try to turn each other on to new songs like Coyote and stuff like that. So I get the last pick of this round. I'm the ninth batter, final batter, whatever, last batter. And here's our friends, the Garys. Let's spend some time on these. Yeah, exactly. Again, they have a new record coming out soon too, which is very, very exciting.
And
we just spoke to them. Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be a secret. I was gonna. Should we? Do you think it would be?
I won't say anything. Nope,
yeah, it's produced by an amazing talent and an incredible Canadian icon type of dude.
Good point.
Yeah, so I just didn't know. I didn't know. But anyways, so just let's, people can look it up on the internet themselves if it's something they need to see. But here they are on our tour together that we did a few years back when we were releasing Ghost Gardens. This is in Whistler, I think. Looks like it from the Kokanee backdrop at the GLC. I think that's where that is.
Oh, probably.
These girls are a three-piece. They're sisters. So you're talking about blood harmonies, singing together, 3 parts. I don't know, they're from Saskatoon and they make, this is probably not even fair, surf rock, but they do a lot of other stuff. It's like 50s rock, surf rock, just something that is like, as soon as you hear them and see them play, it's something else. Like, I don't think we ever got more comments on that tour of like, and we would say, yeah, we discovered them. we figured
they already toured with the Sadies before us.
Oh yeah, no. But our fans were like, who are these girls? What is this stuff? This is incredible, right? Like, it's awesome.
But you remember when we were at the Nest Creek Festival?
That's where you heard them. We
had the cabin, and we're like, what is that? And we cut through the woods.
Yeah.
You guys went. I stayed. I ate edibles.
They had the late night set. It was like 2 a.m. or something.
And when I heard them, we just made a beeline and was like, we need those girls to open up for us.
I put Danceland on. There's this song, Danceland. So they have their first, I don't know if it's their first record, but Noah can correct us, but it's their first release, I think, called Surf Manitou. I might be getting this wrong, but there's like a monster on there called the Manitouna. And this song, Danceland, is about this venue that's up on Lake Manitou, I guess, or Manitou Beach. Oh, Look at this place. This is like they do a festival actually called the Manitou Boogaloo. They're going on year 3, providing that can happen this year. Hopefully it does. But in the bottom left there, you can see the outside of this place called Danceland and this old timey 1950s dance hall that they.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's what this song is. It's called Danceland, and it's probably an homage to this place. But this record, look them up on Spotify or YouTube, and buy a record if you can. I know that Hank, if you're out there, they have a limited run available in Holland of that record right now. Just again looking them up through this whole TV show process.
Named after their dad.
They're called the Gary. That's right. And their dad is awesome. Their dad is sweet. They're named after Gary, and they're, like I said, 3 sisters, and just almost jealous of how awesome they are, because it was every night when they played, we watched them every single night. That doesn't always happen, It was every single time they were up there, and watching people's reaction to them was really great. Our longtime crowd was like, "Where did you find these girls?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember trying to take a lot of credit for it at the time." They're just so amazing.
Always harmonize well. It's in the Sadies and the Garys. Any band with siblings is usually top.
Well,
notch.
and they just have like the stage presence, songwriting. They have all the things you need to be great. And I wish them a lot of luck with the new record. It's going to be pretty awesome. And we did discover them up. We discovered them for ourselves up in Ness Creek, which is the festival we'll discuss in a little bit. But first, I think that is the rest of the music part of this. So now we get to bring our good friend in. Shall we bring him in? Do we need to? Steve, can you play him in? With something nice. There he is. Let me just get that out of your way, buddy.
I was actually hoping to hear the Imperial March as my intro.
That would be pretty good.
I almost had it queued up myself, but I was like, I don't have enough time to set that up.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Brood Nation, do we have that? Can we have a nation? Are we allowed to have that?
Sure.
This is Noah Camus. He is our sound tech, psychiatrist, babysitter, tour managing, spiritual advisor. All the things that a band needs, he takes care of that stuff.
Naturopath.
DJ for the most part. Psychedelic background provider. Your background is by far the best we've seen yet.
Like I said earlier, I'm just trying to add some production value to this whole thing.
Hey, look at that. Sorry to put that over your face, but Hank says hello.
Hi,
Hank. Hey, buddy.
I miss you very much.
Yes, we all do. Absolutely. So Noah, not many people know this, but if you're a fan of sports, do you like sports? Noah likes sports.
Not really. This past year, oddly enough, I've gotten into F1 of all things. When people try and talk to me about hockey,
yeah, but you know that you did inspire Gritty from the Philadelphia Flyers, right? That's
actually that photo was taken in the green room of Amigos. Oddly enough,
there you go. Exactly. That was Halloween, was it not?
Tied it all together.
Awesome, so good. And I also forgot we have a sponsor this week. The official team of the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks.
Yes.
A bit of an inside joke. Yeah, I know. I wanted to do it last week. I forgot because for everyone out there who cares, the Redhawks are Noah's baseball team. The Winnipeg Goldeyes are their arch rival that Mark likes, and they go at it. These guys. Yes. Noah likes to tease Mark about that kind of stuff.
Redhawks. I'm just Redhawk at heart. Okay, that's really where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly. The Fargo, and I thought it would be a good time to get a sponsorship. So there we go. All right, Noah, how are you, buddy? You're a sound tech. You're another person in the sort of machinery of music. We've talked to a promoter. We've talked to a touring guitarist, a friend, and now we got you. You have to do a lot of different jobs. How are you doing, man?
Trying to keep my head above water as much as I can. I should say that I am at the lovely Fox Cabaret in Vancouver, BC.
Right.
One of the last independent venues in the city. So thank you kindly for that.
That's comment from Pat.
Yeah. I was just remarking earlier that it's kind of a sad anniversary for me because this week was a year ago today that the last time I did a public show with full on public people enjoying drinking, hanging out, dancing. So it's been a while. But
I know a year ago I landed in this town and I've been stuck here ever since. 1 year ago today, I landed with a suitcase full of hand sanitizer and masks because no one could get it at the time, and I'm still here. So there you go. But we'll see each other soon again. I know it's going to happen. We'll be back together again. And
I hope so.
Yeah. So you've been with us for a lot of different things. We've had some great techs over the year, Ryan Fields, Dino. But you've been with us the longest. You've put up with us for the most. We should pretty much. You should just be our guest every week because we could talk about Portland. We could talk about Seattle. There's a lot of situations.
I've got some good stories coming up.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a guest spot every week. But we're obviously in the middle of the country right now. Let me just throw up the skinny province there of Saskatchewan. This is I did a lot of work on this particular graphic, obviously. So we're going to focus on some of these places. I think we'll start in Regina, which we talked a little bit about, and then we'll head down to Benghazi for the Gateway Festival. So, Mark, do you have anything you want to say about? Maybe we could start with the Regina Folk Fest because Noah's definitely involved with this. When we had a little weather, issues.
Okay. Noah, do you want to take this, or do you want me to start it and then?
How about you
set it up? I'll set it up.
Yeah, you set it up and I'll knock it out of the park.
So the bill for that night was us, then Joel Plaskett, followed by Sam Roberts. That was how it was supposed to play out. We played, had a great show. Joel Plaskett starts to play, and they pull him off stage. Or does he finish? I can't remember.
I don't know. I was already at the hotel by then because it was like Windsor style lightning,
so
crazy.
The whole thing is you could see the storm for miles and miles. It was the worst storm I've ever seen in my life. Beautiful, gorgeous, but torrential rains. So Sam Roberts doesn't get to play that night. We all meet in the hotel lobby. Everybody's just drinking because Sam's kind of upset that he didn't get to play that night. And then we're like, well, actually, we're going to play the after party. They've asked us to open and play the after party. He's like, can I come along and play some songs? But unbeknownst to Noah,
Poor
Noah gets sent ahead of time to go and work at the club to set everything up. But then I'll pass it on to you.
So yeah, I had a different experience for that time period than the gents. Immediately after our set on the main stage, I got Transpo to take me to the Exchange, a venue we've been to a few times before. Good times and not so good times. And I got there, and that's when the storm just kind of started rolling in. And I was also going to be working with Royal Canoe for that festival, and they were playing that show as well. And so the house sound tech that night was really nice, but didn't really know what was going on. He was just a fill-in, and so he didn't really know where anything was. So it already started off a bit rocky. Finished sound checking Royal Canoe, and I text the guys, "Hey, where are you at? Come down for a sound check." And that's when you told me that the main stage had been canceled.
We're all coming. Everyone's coming.
You were all you were all drinking at the hotel bar, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what's going on here. Let me try and find out. I couldn't find anyone in charge. And that's when the power went out, and they decided to let the people that were outside that had been at the main stage, which had been postponed or canceled, had all decided to come to the after party. So there's a couple hundred people waiting outside to come in, and it's starting to just pour rain everywhere. So then they let all these people in, and they're starting to serve them alcohol when there's no power, meaning there's no lights and there's no security. So after a short period of time, people were drinking on stage, playing with the Royal Canoe's equipment and everything. It was a nightmare.
It ended up good, though. Because here's a shot right here.
Time.
There's Sam singing. We got to sing Brother Down with Sam. It was cool.
Yeah,
it was a crazy night. It was like, by the end of it, victory sort of happened because everyone was dejected that the weather had sort of ruined the day. But we got to jam out. It was great. It was
Sam was playing the guitar. That was really fun.
I'll say this: it's one of many instances where we had a great time and Noah had to work like a maniac. It's basically what happened. Like you think of the, in Europe that time with carrying the amp and the pig ears when you had eaten a bowl of pig ears. Yeah. So oftentimes Noah has to like sweat it out while we have a blast, and we thank you for that.
Dozens of shows where you guys have had just been like the best night ever, and like I'm just behind the soundboard sweating bullets the whole time, just like wishing the night would be over. And there's been other times where like everything's been great for me, and you guys have had just a bad show for whatever reason. So
yeah.
So
the cultural exchange is what it's called. It's sort of our home when we're there, and many bands. There's like a cool little backstage green room that everyone in Canadian music has signed and all that stuff. Let's give a few shout outs to Regina because we do got to move on to some other places. Can you name our favorite place to eat, or like even what it is? You might not know the name, but you might know the picture. Let's just
Duarte's or something?
No, it's the Italian Star Deli.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Duarte's is here in Hamilton. One of my
good.
It probably looks similar, but this is this is where we go to eat because we don't need to eat for like 6 or 7 hours after that. They make the best. Yeah, they're the best.
And
we only discovered it more recently.
A.C.R.O.N.Y.M actually recommended that to me, and I passed that recommendation on to us. So
there you go, because we never knew about it. It's a more recent addition to our sort of food repertoire for sure. And it's a family-run thing. One of those places too, where it's like, I don't know if this is the son or grandson or whatever. Someone mentioned to us that it's still a completely family-run business. Just a wonderful thing, and it's our sort of now. It's definitely our go-to in Regina for sure, because there's like we mentioned it last week. There's a lot of Rickies. There's a lot of those kinds of places, it was Saskatoon, or no, I guess it's Regina, where Steve spent 3 days in a Ricky's ribs.
3 square meals at Ricky's.
Yeah, every day.
Where else did you go?
And Regina reminds me, if you go, in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in general, Saskatoon is the Paris of the prairies, right? As far as I know, it's this beautiful prairie oasis, and Regina is much like Windsor, Ontario. That's why it reminds me a lot. It's more industrial, it's a little more gritty, and it reminds me more of home. It's the home of a lot of great people. Amanda Putz, our friend, who is one of the early people on CBC who got us going. And here's a shot of probably one of the most successful bands in our country that you may or may not even know of, the Dead South. This is us in Cozumel with the Dead South, this cruise we did.
Nice photo.
They come from Regina, and they are, again, if you don't know who these guys are, then your algorithm on YouTube is broken.
Las Tortugas.
Yeah, they're just. We spent that day on this, whatever, it's 6 miles around on scooters drinking tequila.
Do you remember the first 5 minutes? What happened?
Yeah. I remember the last 10 minutes of us trying to get back, and I bailed on the scooter. I fell off. Oh, Bush or Rhubarb fell off on the way.
Rhubarb.
Yes,
I remember that.
and then the taxi cab driver is laughing at him, like, which is like, it was insane.
Yeah, it was
That was fun, but crazy.
super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are like, they are. I was trying to think earlier. I was like, is there a more successful band in our kind of music, Americana or whatever you want to call it,
I don't know.
from this country? I don't think so. Like, we've been doing shows with them recently, right before the pandemic, and we will be again when we get back at it.
But not worldwide. Like, those guys are worldwide. Wherever
That's what I mean. I don't think there's like metric, maybe like literally of the size of shows we did. Strumbellas are one
I
of
think
those
they're
ones that
bigger
are
than
doing
that.
pretty well.
I think they're.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're not even on the radio, but an incredible. If you ever have a chance to see these guys play, their show is insane. It's
Their
unbelievable.
one video has over 200 million views.
Yeah.
200 million. That's
But a lot of
that's on a
bands
different level.
a lot of people would rest on that. You know what I mean? And they have so much more than just that now.
Yeah.
Like they've managed to harness that and turn it into this incredible like experience. It's half theater, half live music show. It's wild. Like, they have a look, they have everything going. So it'll be fun to get back out with those guys. They're, be one of our first trips once we get back into the hotels like this one. Here's me and Noah. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
A magical moment.
That was a good time.
Hey,
Recreating a famous
Did
art.
you see the picture I put up there? Is it okay to post that?
Let me see. Let me share it right here.
Also from Saskatoon.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know if my publicist okayed that one.
You didn't know. Yeah, you didn't tell me. I didn't know what the photo was. No.
Joe.
Did you take that picture?
I did take that picture.
Nice.
Who else would take a photo of me in a hot tub? Like,
Because you love the hot tub, and so do I. We
The
love it.
Schmitz. You love
He does love a good
Schmitz.
schwitz. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, and you're definitely having a relaxing time. So.
Oh, Noah and I have our little Whistler appointments all the time in this schwitz when we get out
Oh, yeah.
there. There's
Well,
a couple hot tubs, or the one in
that came up from the
Revelstoke?
Saskatoon
Is that it?
anyway.
yes.
the hot tub in Revelstoke is a consistent one too. All right, let's hit the map for a second. So you see Regina, and I put an arrow to Bengoff, the area. It's down near Estevan, if you've ever been that way. Maybe you have if you're Andy Schaaf or something, but if you're not him, you probably haven't been there unless you deal in potash. I believe it's the potash capital of Earth. Is that right? It's one of them.
So.
That whole area, yeah. So, but they have an incredible festival called the Gateway Music Festival. Here's a shot at some random things.
Oh yeah.
Poster. There we are. We played there. It might have been the last festival we played, to be honest. It's one of them. Kathleen Edwards was there. John Sampson was there. Here's a great shot of John K. Sunset right here. Look at that.
Nice.
I think we played right after John.
We did.
recall.
Play after
we
John.
did.
I took that one. I sent you the video as well, but you're not going to play the video.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the production to these great graphics like this.
Wow.
That's what we're gonna do. But this is in this weird. I remember going out. We've done it 3 times, I believe now. This poster is from the last time. And just, it's in this, you get there and you're like, what is going on here? Like, there's no way there's a music festival in the middle of this.
Yeah.
But there is, and it's an incredible one. They get great acts. They have this crazy sort of like how they split the audience on the drinking side and the family side through like there's like an aisle in the middle, like those cattle gates, and then there's a drunk side, and then the more less drunk side.
Weird.
But great times, just an awesome time. Like, I don't know if you guys, do you remember the pool the first time we went?
Yes.
Community pool.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, the little pool, yeah. And the hoodoos, right?
Yeah.
Those weird
Oh,
hoodoos.
there's a nice comment. Thanks, David. Yeah, we will definitely talk about the hoodoos, which is, I think, something that this Saskatchewan Tourism Board hides from people because they don't want people coming there or something. Because if you take a look at, you wouldn't think that these 2 bottom pictures on the bottom right are Saskatchewan, but those are the Badlands of southern Saskatchewan. It's called Big Muddy. There's a lot of history there with horse thieving and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm pretty sure the one in the bottom corner is, I knew we were old. We were at the festival, and I knew I had gotten too old when we were up there. And there was like a bunch of guys and a couple girls really, 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 really high on mushrooms. And they were like doing headstands and stuff.
Yes,
like,
they were.
On the edge.
And we're all like, back up, you guys. We weren't like partying on. We were like, you guys got to stop this stuff. We were like, just parents all of a sudden, right? Like, this guy's like doing like, walking on his hands. It's like, this isn't fun for us, man. You're going to fall off this thing. It's like anywhere else in Saskatchewan, you could do that and the ground is flat, but you're in the one spot where you could die doing that right now. It's unbelievable. But, so that's a great festival. Originally run by our friend Carol, and then I think she's passed it on to other people doing it, or she's the one who got us down there in the first place. But, yeah, great times. So let's move around. Well, quick couple mentions because I don't think we'll have time to get to it. Moose Jaw, great town. Played there a couple times. Mm-hmm. Speedy Creek. What's Speedy Creek? The official name being Swift Current. But those who know, we played a kite festival there once, which was great. That's all.
That lady stole my pizza.
Pizza was stolen. Crickets were
The crickets. That's one of my favorite tour stories. Still.
Oh yeah.
It was hard to play. It was
And
really hard.
it was on my side of the stage that the cricket was on.
It was like inside the microphone. So quickly, what happened? Anytime we stopped playing, a very audible and overpowering cricket sound came on, which is obviously comically like the worst thing you can ever have after like Alberta, and then like cricket. And the crowd was very sort of like. Oh,
as a sound tech too, I need to say that the cricket was so loud, it's actually coming through the PA. Through Mark's microphone. So yeah.
It's like a tambourine. It's so high pitched you can't get it out of anything. It's everywhere. It's like herpes.
Well, it was a good show, but everybody was pretty wasted. And then, like I said, after the cricket, we had pizzas. They had bought pizzas for us, and we were packing out. And then the lady came by. She was so drunk, and she's like, "They're giving out pizzas." And I was like, "No, that's my pizza." And she just took off with it. Yeah.
There's our friend Swan. Hi, Swan. How are you, buddy?
Hey,
Swan. Just so you know, Swan is a sound technician and an incredible person who taught Noah everything he actually knows. And she's been on tour with us as well. She's a great person. She's keeps it light and makes, again, our second psychiatrist and babysitter and all those things. So, yeah. So that's basically all these places are along the Trans-Canada, which is in the lower, if you're traveling across Canada, you're the very bottom of Saskatchewan. Rarely if you go up to Saskatoon, that's essentially as north as most people go. But many, 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 many years ago, that top question mark up there represents the area that I believe the Ness Creek Festival to be in, and I don't know how accurate that is. But the Ness Creek Festival, all I can say about it is the hippies are alive and well. Everyone is. Here's a few shots of that I could find.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Now Mark, do you want to talk about that PT Cruiser by any chance?
That was the first time we drove in there. We've added a lot of equipment since then, but the very first time that we ever went there, we packed all of us and all of our gear into a PT Cruiser because they said that they were going to rent us a vehicle, but we thought it was going to be a van, and it turned out to be the only thing that was available was a PT Cruiser.
It was the worst.
And I think it was copper orange.
This is a close. I would figure this was as close as I could get. It definitely had wood paneling. I remember that because I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But then I realized quickly it was not cool. But yeah, this festival is in the northern. I guess you could consider it northern Saskatchewan. It's a beautiful place. We've been there 3 times at least. I guess there's a shot of Shred Kelly are playing on that stage on the right and a shot from the front there. But I don't know what else to say about this festival. Other than like I said, the hippies are alive and well, and it's a crazy campground for 3-4 days. People are in there and they don't leave. You literally have to bring everything in. There's no going anywhere. There's no town really anywhere close.
The one thing I will say about that festival, the accommodations are amazing for the artists because they actually build cabins and they have cabins for you. So we would just drink on our stoop of our cabin and listen to all the other bands play. And that's kind of where we heard the Garys for the first time. But it is so amazing. Oh,
there's Timmy from Winter Sleep. We're going to talk. Actually, we'll get into the tour with Winter Sleep in a little bit. Hey, Tim, what's going on, buddy? He's in Saskatoon for some reason, I guess. Awesome.
He lives there. I think he just had a baby, too.
Oh, I had no idea. I've been keeping up with that's awesome. Yeah. Congrats, buddy. That's Tim DeYoung, guitarist, Winter Sleep. And we had our main story today involves Winter Sleep and the tour we did in 2012 together, which was a lot of fun, but also looking back, one of the hardest things that has ever happened to us. Not because of music or anything else, just literally touring logistics. But we will get into that. I went past that. We didn't even talk about Saskatoon yet, but let's finish off with the Ness Creek piece. Ness Creek is the people and organizers. These are Saskatoon people that go north and rip it up. It goes crazy. We met our good friend like Dagan Green up there. A lot of friends we met up there. That was I remember being up there with Rami Mays, whole bunch of other crazy stuff. The nights are incredibly long. I don't think music really stops. I don't know. Maybe it does. Noah, have you been there with us or not? Have you ever come with us?
I was there, I think, the first time that you guys played it. I was there, and I remember it because we drove. I flew from, I think it was Vancouver to Saskatoon. No, it was Vancouver to Calgary to Saskatoon. Then we drove up from Saskatoon to Ness Creek, which was like 5 hours or so. We played our set on the headlining stage, and then we had like an hour after in the cabin behind the stage before we had to drive back to the airport to fly to Calgary to Edmonton to play the other festival that I guess we'll talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll get it. We had to. I forgot all about that.
That was like
I feel like Ness is one of those ones.
24 hours with you guys without any sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll be doing Ness again. I hope we can come back every few years. I remember we finished that set, and I was just standing like with my hood up because it gets chilly at night. I remember watching. It might have been Deep Dark Woods. I forget who. And this guy just walks over to me. He's holding like a plastic bag. Puts his hand in and reaches like a palm full of just loose weed and puts it in my hand. He's like, "You played very well tonight." I just like standing in the middle of the forest with a giant ball of I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Walking around, it's like, oh, thanks a lot, man. So they go real hard up there. It's a lot of fun. Just I remember, and then that led into the time with your glass jar thing, which is a later thing. I think Winnipeg Folk Fest, but we won't go too far into that. Just crazy times. And so we'll move down to the city of Saskatoon, where the Paris of the Prairies, as they call it. Here's a picture of a place that we call the Senator Hotel. Everyone calls it that. That's its name. There's a little shot of the hallway, which could be from The Shining, but it's the hallway of the Senator. It's where we always stay when we're there. Great town. What else could we say? Let's show Amigos. I got a shot of Amigos here. This is generally where we play. There's a shot of the Sadies, very blurry, as they should be in the shot of the Sadies playing at Amigos. It's just this crazy, I don't know, there's a lot like it, where you load in and people are eating dinner and you sound check, sort of. It's like very strange. It turns from a restaurant into
It's completely unique having like a Mexican restaurant that's also a venue in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's just like a lot of those things don't really add up. But
and the crowd is very aware of what's going on. Like, especially we're there a lot in the winter. I can't, for some reason I can't even picture Saskatoon in the summer. I feel like we're always there in the winter, and like opening that door, people are trying to eat tacos and enchiladas, and we're loading gear and it's freezing. Everyone just puts their coat on. They're like, "Yep, this happens every single day." And it's like a punk rock taco joint. It's unbelievable. So good. But yeah,
of Jack Layton, just a little piece.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Found it. Yeah. So
we did spend a Halloween or two.
We did Halloween, and
this is a beauty.
The year that Jack passed away, and
it was a too soon moment.
Bless his heart. It was the same year. I thought, is this too soon to be Jack? And
no, it was beautiful.
It was earnestly as a tribute.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
For those of you who aren't Canadian or maybe don't know, Jack Layton is a politician with the NDP. He probably would have been the prime minister at some point, I imagine, had he lived longer. But
exactly, he's the orange wave, man.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Steve looks exactly like a young Jack Layton in this picture.
Apparently, I do. It worked pretty well.
It's great.
That is your best Halloween costume ever.
Right.
It doesn't involve spray paint in the van. It doesn't involve putting it together at the last minute, and we have to deal with all your crap.
Just a little bit of the white.
Awesome.
I will say though, that spider costume you had in Peterborough that you put together in like a half hour with like pipes and black paint was
I like that one.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. That was good.
No, it was totally great.
We've had some good Halloweens
paint,
over the years.
In the car though, it was so bad.
Yeah,
the amount of paint smell.
Oh man, so funny though. You have had some good ones, but that one you like pulled it off incredibly well. Quick other Saskatoon thing before we move on to our main event. Between Steve and Mark, what does the sign mean to you in Saskatoon?
That means the all-out argument.
No, you know what that means? Ever since that night, we can only order Domino's pizza.
Yeah,
I'll tell you something first.
The short ribs. It was short. Oh, go ahead.
It was the short ribs.
So this is. There's been a few moments where I thought the band might break up for real. Where I thought, and I think this was on the Corb Lund tour, was it not? Did this not happen on the Corb? Because we were in Saskatoon for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
we're at the Senator, and everyone, we eat a lot of pizza because we're a band. And by the way, Prairies, put your pepperonis on top of the cheese. Stop putting them under the cheese. I had to put that disclaimer out there. Yep. Family Pizza, Domino's, whoever you are, stop doing that. It's ridiculous. Anyways, family pizza. So it comes to dinner time.
Pizza, right? Why not? It's family. Well, seems like a good thing.
#1 pizza in Saskatoon. Congratulations.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to David to your son Oliver. Get to bed. I love that you have us on your playlist, Oliver. That's really cool.
Thanks for listening, Oliver.
We're almost done. If you want to stick it out, I don't want you to stay up too late, but our stories are getting a little darker. Thanks for listening, buddy. Have a good sleep tonight, and watch in a month too. Cheers.
Yeah, that one, it didn't come to blows, but as close as you can get when you're verbally assaulting each other on with regards to food.
It's funny because if you zoom out, it doesn't seem like that bad of an argument. Family pizza, a nice run family place. They have the dry ribs as a bonus.
You know what though, Steve? This is something.
Domino's, always the same.
Now that I'm a YouTube channel producer, and I'm making less money than I ever have. Now that I'm doing this, I researched Family Pizza, and it's actually a chain. They're all over the place in the prairies.
Really?
Yeah, it's like one of those like 2-for-1.
Never again.
2-for-1 chain. But that night might not have been the one you were calling. Either way, it was this debate where they argued, and Mark eventually won out because of the lack of quality of our order. And it was.
Well, I won on the order though.
You got the order for sure.
I
But
got the order, and then it was like, oh, this took extra long.
he bought these things called riblets, which are pieces of bone with like a bit of beef jerky wrapped. I don't know what they are. They were bad. And I'm not blaming this particular chain because it might not have been them, but whoever made them should be fired for sure.
No, I know.
It was just, you know what? It was an argument for the overall argument was like, okay, we're musicians. We got to stretch our money, man. We got to like have good food.
No, but Steve, you generally on the road, and no one knows this too. Steve is not like the fast food type. He likes to get into the, it's good. That is a good thing for the most part.
I want to bring a couple points here real quick. As an outsider, so to speak, of Elliott Brood, I will say more than anything else, arguments on the road start with food with these guys. That's a high expectation for everyone.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. And also, secondly, Steve is a connoisseur of foods that you wouldn't think anyone would ever eat. I've never seen a man order like pizza at a gas station in the middle of like Manitoba. That's Steve's
there's a legendary Seattle steak tartare incident that was just
God,
it was one of the craziest. But he goes for it, like raw egg on raw meat. I was like, this is like a trick. This is a hipster trick to eat something insane. That's all this restaurant is. This is not real. No one eats this. And Steve, it looked like it was just basically like a hamburger ball.
A hamburger on a plate. I ate it.
I watched you eat it. I was like, are you gonna eat that?
I think it's the equivalent of like what they do in Dawson with the ear. It's like, shoot the ear, which I did because I did all that stuff. It's the same idea. Like, eat this dog food with an egg on it, and good luck to you.
But I gotta say, family pizza is not for me. Unfortunately, that's meant that every night since then, it's always Domino's because
it's not always
not
everyone. It's like
because
has to be Domino's now.
No,
but
Mark Donald's.
See, it's happening right now.
Yeah, there's the occasional stop to Mark Donald's. That's for sure.
The band's gonna break up on this live show right now because of family pizza. Family pizza. Family pizza. Family pizza.
In all fairness to Steve,
again.
Steve is always upset, or not upset.
I am.
Back it up.
That's right.
But in the morning, because Casey and myself don't care to have breakfast. We can just get up and go.
And I want breakfast.
Steve wants a proper breakfast.
Have to.
Speaking of that, though, I will shout this out for the Senator Hotel. Their breakfast is amazing breakfast. They have this like maple sausage thing. I don't know. It's like it's sausage. It's not hard to explain.
Fancy and it's not expensive. Yeah. It's very fancy.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized because I wanted to shout a couple places out in Regina too. Their record store in Regina, we love vintage vinyl. That's another, and Hemp Emporium and whatever else. If you're into country records, that's one of those ones. And
it's weird because like it's the best place to go in Regina for country records, but also Bob Marley posters. It's like that's shopping.
Do they have the one where he's smoking a joint? Do they have that poster?
they have that on a flag too.
They have that flag for your bedroom window. So oh man, amazing. Yeah. So, but that once you got me into these, you and Goldie have basically got me into these like vintage country. Like Dillard and Clark was your pick for this week. Those kind of records. That's like a treasure trove store for that kind of stuff if you like that, and ceramics and whatever else.
Song, actually, too, because that's going to be in the list. You have to say something about it.
We'll get to that.
I don't know. I don't know the order of this. Like, who's running this show?
It's pretty. I'm doing. I'm hitting buttons and stuff. I can shut you off anytime I want. So you say something against me, I got the buttons.
Well, they call me the office.
That's right.
That's actually pretty good, Steve. I do want to say one thing about Saskatoon. Is the first place that I worked with you guys like as your sound tech at the Broadway Theater.
Another place we got to mention.
Yeah, we've done. I think I've done 2 or 3 shows with you there, and it's a fantastic little spot. I will always remember the first show I did with you guys was, I think it was for the Jazz Festival, and Casey and Clayton opened up, and they were at the time like 12 and 14 or so.
Yeah, it was crazy. So young.
And I've never seen someone like backstage after the show, they got into their rider, and like I've never seen anyone have their mind blown by Baba Ganoush before, like they had their minds blown that day. And that's a memory that's stuck with me on tour.
Yeah, I remember that moment, and you, because you love Baba Ganoush.
Well, it's my Lebanese ancestry. I have to celebrate it. So yeah,
you're like, you were blown away. You're like, what?
Yeah. I don't know what this eggplant thing is, but sure is delicious.
And again, like another band from the prairies who just like, where did these guys come from, and how are they this good, and how are they like? They're not even legal. It's craziness how good that was. But yeah, Saskatoon, and there's other times. I mean, we went go-karting with the Cord Boys, and that was craziness. That was just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
That's how we found out Mark is a huge competitor in everything.
We never knew.
We discovered that day that
I drove everybody off the road.
Yeah, pretty nuts, but good times.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, you got to use the pit maneuver when you're racing people, man. Just
Yeah.
bump them out. That's it.
We got a comment here from Meg O'Rourke. We're going to be in Alberta next month, and we will spend a lot of time on the tongue and groove. I'm saying we might have to go south and north, split it up. Similar to, in Alberta, you got the Calgary-Edmonton rivalry. That's essentially the Regina-Saskatoon thing, I think, in Saskatchewan, where we are today. And we'll talk a little
I'm
bit
going to
more about.
excuse myself for 1 second because I think my phone is going to die if I don't charge it while we're here.
Well, you got to charge it.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
You got it. Okay, well, you come back. We got Noah here anyways. But we're going to move on to our sort of again, a lot of things have happened. But I'm going to put up, I should wait for Mark to get back before I do this. Is there anything else you want to talk about quickly? Anything else?
What
do you got for me?
Like I said, it's the first place I worked with you guys.
The Broadway's a great place. For sure.
If I had to choose between Saskatoon and Regina, I've got I know some really great people in Regina, but Saskatoon is a great city. It's one of my favorite places in Canada.
Me too.
Regina, I remember. I hate to say it, Regina's not my favorite place.
It's not a lot of people's favorite place, but it is what it is. Like I said, it reminds me of my hometown. So.
Well, yeah, it's got a hometown feel to it. But I remember there was one summer I was working with you guys, and I ended up being in Regina 6 times in a year, and it was just like, how did this happen? What wrong choices did I make with my life to end up here?
Nice. Well, I have a math equation for you guys. Tell me what this equals. Hurricane plus being robbed plus van breakdown plus which equals, and Tim Dion, if you're still out there, what these 4 things together equals is the 2012 fall tour of Winter Sleep and Elliott Brood, which was musically an incredibly amazing time. But for us,
can I say
stuff
one
happened.
Thing? Can I say one thing prior to all of that? Is do you remember after the hurricane drove us to Albany, New York?
Exactly.
And then we thought Winter Sleep was going to break up because they were arguing over wrestling, and everybody was so.
Yeah, it was. Noah was involved in those arguments too. Noah had some strong opinions. Yeah.
Ultimate Warriors, one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways,
And what's
I know where you're going. I know where
bowling.
you're going to theater.
Yeah, so this tour with Winter Sleep, it was like this sort of co-tour together. It was really great. It started out east. We started working our way back. But in 2012, a little hurricane named Sandy hit the East Coast, stalled us in Albany. We were all stuck there. We did some bowling. It was like an ominous start to this entire experience. And so the Friendship Hotel, a bunch of weird, insane places. Seeing Manhattan blacked out was still an image that I'll always have in my mind forever, seeing it with no lights.
That's one of my favorite tour memories is you expect Godzilla to burst through a building or something like that.
Yeah. But, we're all working through this together. We're touring. We're getting across. We come up through the States and Chicago and Minneapolis and stuff. And then we get to Winnipeg. And I'm going to just fast forward to the good part. So we're playing the Pyramid. It's a great night. We come out to the van. The van is
Obama
smashed.
just got reelected. Remember that?
Who did?
Obama just got reelected.
That happened in the Chicago. That we were in Chicago that day.
Yeah.
That's right. Or not Chicago, Cleveland, I think it was. Pardon me. Excuse me, Cleveland. That was a memorable night. Oh, wow, that's that tour as well? No, it can't be. Oh, the second election. Tours.
It was the reelected.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, it was Cleveland the first time. I was going to say this is all melting together now. So anyways, and Noah, for 10 points, can you tell me the bottle of liquor that you bought that was stolen from the van that night in Winnipeg?
It was a bottle of, I believe, Woodford Reserve for my
Close. Buffalo Trace. The answer we're looking for is Buffalo Trace.
It was a birthday present for my brother.
Yes, indeed. So anyways, it was stolen. We had our window smashed. We just limped to the hotel, I don't know what we did. We sort of tried to stay up and watch the window. We put a garbage bag in there. Anyone want to take over from here from the next morning? We start driving. It was winter. It was no longer a fall tour at this point.
Yeah.
We're in the prairies. It's a winter tour at this point.
Yeah.
So let us know who wants to pick it up from here.
We had to go to Saskatoon after that.
Yeah, we had to drive to Saskatoon. And the total time from when we left Winnipeg all the way to our final destination when the van actually, what happened was we pulled over about maybe 30 kilometers before everything went bad. And we thought it had to do with gas, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the van broke down. But the worst part of that whole drive was, Noah?
we decided to we taped a plastic garbage bag to cover up the window because it's mid-November. We're driving through the prairies in Canada. It's cold.
Well, we did try to see if we could get it fixed, but no one could do it that morning, so we had to go.
No, and we had like an 8-hour drive or whatever, so it was just like logistically not possible. So I sat in the front seat where the window was broken, and I remember like the cold wasn't too bad. You just bundled up. But the sound, it was so loud, and like you couldn't turn the radio off or anything like that, just because the sound was so loud and deafening. And after hours, it was a miserable morning. Like we were all in pretty awful moods.
It was bad.
But our spirits were raised a little bit when we were like, oh, the van's breaking down. How?
Yeah, Okay, so when you're heading west on the Trans-Canada Highway, if you're heading to Saskatoon, you cut up on the 16 to go north to Saskatoon. You pass a town. It's a city, Yorkton, I guess. It's a town, but it has things. It has like stores.
It's a border town.
And let's say about 50 kilometers later, you will pass a town, and let me throw up a map here of a place called Theodore, Saskatchewan, and this map should give you a pretty good idea of what it's near. There's Yorkton down below it, but we've pinpointed Theodore. All of a sudden, the van starts making noises I've never heard before. Oh, by the way, Theodore does have a sister city in Australia.
Nice.
I did put that up here. So it's the same. If you go up into the wastelands of Australia, New Nowherestown is essentially what you're getting.
This guy's a
with Theodore. That's right. I was a cartographer before I started.
I can tell.
That's true.
Look at that work.
That's pretty nice, right? I drew this map today before the show. So here we are in Theodore. And of course, the van just starts. Whatever, it's not working anymore. We have to stop. And I don't know how long we were on the highway before a good Samaritan came along to help us. Who was
it
a
was
witch.
probably about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? I had video of this on an old phone. I couldn't find it. I would have loved to have been able to play the video of this woman who stopped. Immediately, I think right away, like she's listening to the motor, she's listening to the engine. She's like, "There's something wrong with that." I'm like, thanks. Thank you. That's an amazing mechanical diagnosis.
Well, justified because she said
she's wicked.
Actually,
I'm going to tell you what.
Before she said that there's something wrong with that, I believe she said, "What's wrong?"
Right.
And she heard it, and then she's like, "Oh, there's something wrong with that."
Yeah.
I think it was you or me that like asked her, like, "Oh, like, are you a mechanic?" "Oh no, my husband is." "Oh, okay.
Can you call him, please?
Could you call him to help us?" No.
Yeah.
Not even an excuse. Just no.
And the other problem with that is those those Sprinter vans were relatively new at the time, so it wasn't easy to get them fixed, let alone in the bustling metropolis of Theodore, Saskatchewan.
Population 499. I remember that.
Oh, there you go. And I think a lot of them weren't there, to be honest. I don't think they were all there. Anyways, the van breaks down. Let's quickly run through what happened. So we have to make a decision. We're not making the Saskatoon show. Winter Sleep is well past us at this point. They're probably already there. We have to cancel that night. Mark and Steve decide to. How did you get back? We had to leave the trailer. We were towing a trailer.
So this is what happened. We got the van picked up.
Yeah.
I had CAA, and so they came and they picked up the van and put it onto the back of a large.
Hard to hear, Mark. Sorry. Can you? You're a little quieter than you were before you left.
It's because I'm charging.
Okay, it's okay. I just wanted to see if you could turn it up. That would be helpful.
You know what? Maybe I got enough power right now.
Okay.
No, you're a sound tech. Can you fix this for us?
Yeah, let me just take care of that. I'll just hop on over to.
It's okay.
So what I was saying is, I called CAA, and then they put our van on a big flatbed truck, and then took us to Yorkton. We proceed to go to Yorkton. You guys stay in Theodore. And then what did we do? We couldn't find anybody to even fix the van. So in the morning, we were kind of like trying to converse with you guys the whole time, trying to be like, okay, we can't find anybody that can fix it. At that time, Claire, part of our management team, she actually found a van for us in Yorkton. So the next morning, we got up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever it is, took the van to the mechanic. They said they couldn't do anything, so we grabbed that van, and then we deadheaded it to go grab you guys. And I think, Kay, you drove through a winter storm to get us all the way. It was 11 hours, I think.
Yeah, it was a long time.
11 or 12 hours.
Because of the drive. Yeah, because of the winter.
But because we were actually we
were
lost
behind.
a lot of time because
we weren't even in
we weren't even in Saskatoon yet. So we had
So
to
we
actually
missed
catch
that
up to
game.
winter sleep. We
Yeah.
had to catch up.
Yeah, we had to
Headed-
blow out
Yeah,
Saskatoon.
And
Right.
that was on that tour. I had an iPad. And so we actually had the map. Like we were downloading the data so we could actually see where the storm was. And we were like freaking out thinking we're not going to make Calgary. We could hear Calgary news saying like,
Oh, do you remember
all
when
the
we
all the streets are covered. There's 250 accidents. Don't go out.
Yeah.
And we're deadheading to play
There's a
in Calgary.
Mhm.
Well, remember we were driving when we finally got into town on 16th. It was just like no one in town. It was crazy. We were on this crazy road alone. Winter happened today.
Visibility was pretty much zero as soon as we got across the Alberta border.
It
And I
was.
do want to say, for the record, remember Casey gave an interview after you guys picked us up.
That's right.
And that was one of the longest nights if we talk more about theater. But Casey was giving an interview to the CBC, I believe. And we were all kind of stressed out, panicked. Like we just got into this cargo van. We barely managed to fit all our stuff in there. And you meant to say our spirits are high, but you ended up just saying we're all high. We're all and I was just like, I hope they get the context of that. That's not
Yeah. They understood. But like, so in this was the beginning of a lot of trouble for us for the rest of this tour. Like Noah and I and Kayla Kangas, who was out with us doing merch and helping us out in general, ended up staying in Theodore that night. And here's a shot. Actually, that shot in the middle there is Winter Sleep's trailer. We would leave them nice little messages for people to see on the highway, like "We hate kittens." That was that particular one there. And then here's the shot on the right is me outside of the hotel, and there's Noah. I think obviously a lot going on in Theodore with the community bulletin board, a lot of things happening. And then that shot down at the bottom is just one of the most depressing things I remember is that woman who was at the BL. We sat in this bar. So the hotel there on the highway has 2 rooms. Here, you can have if you go online, you can rent this whole hotel for like $120. But the top right is the bar that we spent. I don't know. We just drank. We literally we went to work drinking just to bury ourselves.
I will say the Theodore's such a bustling metropolis that the hotel is also the restaurant and it's also the bar.
Yeah, and the convention center. Everything.
This photo is far too new. I will say that the hotel room that we had did not have a flat screen TV. It didn't. The old tube televisions with a hand crank where you had to change the channels, no remote, nothing.
Yeah,
I think we only had 3 channels too.
Well, yeah, and it was a very difficult. And I know that the boys had a little thing in Yorkton called Thai Pad, which is a new twist on.
I'm a foodie, so I love Thai Pad.
He had Thai Pad. It was a little bit backwards. But anyway, so that night let us. Yeah, I mean, it was we did make it to Calgary. I remember specifically getting on stage and Winter Sleep had played. We were generally playing first on the tour, but they played first because we literally rolled in, got on stage. I think the first song I snapped a string and I just almost lost it. I think I almost just exploded.
But you know what?
Done with this.
It's a good show.
I know,
It was,
that you
One of our
had a
best shows.
difficult show or you felt it was a difficult show, but for me it was just such an elation, such a stress reliever.
Yeah.
It was the crowd was amazing. All of the
Just in
things
time.
that you wanted.
Oh, and
happened.
Winter Sleep let us go on after. We were going to go on before that night, but they were like, we needed that time.
To McEwen Hall in Calgary, literally when they were on their last song. We loaded in while they were playing their last song, and we got set up and sound checked in probably 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was great. And that tour got better again. And I remember it ended up being like a sold out show at the Commodore in Vancouver, which was incredible. And then I remember the next night being one of the biggest punches in the face ever in Seattle when we ended up at that weird place.
The
and there was
Theater.
a few people, few people. And it was so demoralizing. And then Portland happened, which was when the Wooden Sky joined the bill, and it was one of the most. We can't
That's
even
a story
say
for another
iconic. It was
like
It all came back.
episode.
yeah, there's a whole that night is incredible. But because Tim is watching from Winter Sleep, Tim ended up driving that rental van all the way home for us because we had to fly immediately to Europe.
Yeah.
After all this craziness, we were ready to just be done. I was like, I quit. This is insane. Yeah. And we had to fly to Europe. He drove it home for us. Yeah.
Right.
And then
he drove it to Yorkton. And this will be tomorrow, actually. My dad flew out with me. And we went and picked up the van and our trailer and drove it all the way back.
Yeah. So nuts.
It's just that was crazy. But then we still had to go on to Europe. And we have more stories about Europe because I was reading Noah gave me Game of Thrones while we were in Europe, and that caused some issues.
Well, remember we put the wrong gas in at one point.
That's what I'm saying. I was reading
we did
Game
a whole
of
bunch
Thrones.
of A lot of
Everything.
stuff.
Wedding crash, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't there, but I've heard the story.
We crashed a wedding with one of Steve's old buddies. Steve has friends all over the place.
Oh, Pierre.
Musicians. Yeah, Pierre. And that, because we were with McNorton, a good friend of ours. Who's,
Manchester's up that way. Sheffield.
There was Sheffield. There was 2 nights with Josh that, again, are like, you know, just one of the most fun because of how much struggle there was involved. And like at that point, as soon as you get to England, it's hard because we're not, you know, we've had good shows there, but we're not established like in it. And that last leg of America was difficult. And then having to leave that, knowing our van was dead, knowing that Tim is driving our van across the country with his, just to get home for us and doing us a huge favor, towing a trailer with our and then we just ran into way more disaster and really let loose in England. And just, I think we missed a couple shows there too. Like we missed Wales because the van was dead. And we had to spend do you remember
who saved us on that in the UK? Dr. Feelgood.
Yes, Dr. Feelgood, which is a service made for idiot foreigners who come and put the wrong gas in their tanks. Exactly. Dr. Feelgood. That's
who you going to call him? He'll make you feel all right.
Dr. Feelgood. So good.
Anyways, but you know what? In all fairness, Kay, you got us that day leaving Yorkton when you drove from Theodore all the way to Calgary. That was epic.
That was anger. That was just determination.
But it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
We made it. We
pulled together, did what we had to do. And that's kind of what touring is all about, right? It's like that's the highs and the lows all in the day, right?
I'd say 3 epic drives that I remember that we've done on tour, and that's certainly in the top 3.
That was definitely the probably like most dangerous and most determined, where we were like, this is not going to end. I remember that feeling like this is not ending us. There's no way this is happening.
2 nights.
Well, because we were in like huge financial issues at that point. We have a dead van. We missed a show, which is like, you need all of those dollars to continue. And it's like knowing in the background, like when we do get home after all of this shit show, we're screwed. That's how I was, you know, I'm like driving going like, man, like this is going to be, who knows how much to get this thing home. We have to go to Europe and get our ass kicked there. Like, but it was just this determination of like, not yet. I'm not going down like this. We're going to get to Calgary. And we did it. And it was, you know, we made it. One of those ones for sure. One of the big ones. But perseverance, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it. Oh man. But again, Noah, like I like to say is like, as a tech, and for any budding sound techs out there, you got to know what you're getting into. You're not just turning knobs and you're not just making things sound good. You're dealing with personalities. You're taking care of a band. And I don't know if that's not really, you don't have to, but the reason Noah is so good at what he does, and many other people who do what he does, is because you become a family and you go through this shit with the band. They don't need to do this shit. Like you and Caleb didn't need to do that.
On me on tour, Casey.
I'll do it exactly. I get to take out my frustrations on you, but but you like it, you know, and we've gotten to know your whole family. Like we hang out with Mike, your dad, when we're in Calgary, and we have a great time. So it's
he was his Ontario son, so you know it's you guys. So
always good to catch up with someone like Mike, who's more grounded in the real world than we might be. You know, comes from the energy sector, and we do not.
Yep.
So there you go.
You know.
But yeah, man, it's beautiful. And again, guys, thanks again. We're literally, you know what? Our show is 1 hour and 20 minutes every time. It works out perfect. That's where we're at. So.
Can you quickly roll the shot from the Regina with Amanda Putz and all? And
I don't have it. It's for some reason it's not popped
screen,
up.
No.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's show our friend Amanda
before
here.
you roll the credits. This is a nice photo.
Yeah, this is one of our earliest musical friends.
That's 2 marks.
What did I do there?
Maybe I'm leading you astray.
Oh, I didn't. We got 2 sassos. Holy shit, our band's a 4-piece.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know what. To be honest, this program is sketching out on me right now, and I can't tell what's going on, so I don't know if I can show that photo.
All right.
But Amanda Putz is another Regina native who was instrumental in getting us started. Yeah.
I think we better go. Oh, well.
Sure. Should I hit the music?
Wheels coming off this thing.
The wheels, we might be in Theodore, Saskatchewan right now.
Well,
all right.
Thanks for having me, gents.
Thanks, Noah, and thanks to everyone out there who's watching this show and having a good time with us. It's just a lot of fun for us to be able to get on and hang out once a month or whatever. So we appreciate it. Be safe. Again, we're almost through. The vaccine's coming. We're all going to be on the road again soon, and we're going to play really loud for you. Right, Noah? You turn it up. How many decibels can we reach?
All the decibels.
All right.
It'll be louder than the Portland hotel room.
That's the one. We'll get
That's
into
a story for
Portland
another
later.
time. Yeah.
People's lives are at stake. We can't tell those stories. You know, super fun. All very innocent, but a lot of fun. All right, we'll see you on April 3rd or 4th or whatever the first Wednesday is. We love you. Thanks for caring. Cheers.
Acronym, oh acronym, that's A.C.R.O.N.Y.M. We started a little music club and we called it Acronym. We can't go on tour again until this damn pandemic ends. Until then, friends, won't you come on in and join us for Acronym? Analytical criticism regarding objectively narrowing your music.